In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to break down the exact systems and structure that I installed into one of my clients' sales team to be able to take his business revenue from around $150,000 per month to about $301,000 per month, or just $300,000 flat. His cash collected from around $150,000 per month to about $260,000 per month in cash collected. But the most important metric, because I know you've seen multiple videos like this talking about how much revenue is generated and cash collected is generated, the most important metric for this specific business owner is the profit that he was making. So I was able to turn his profit from around $50,000 per month to $115,000 per month in just 60 days. Profit is what everyone is after. So that's the most important metric, and that is because we weren't pouring more money into advertising or more money into content or anything like that. We simply just needed to sharpen up the systems and the structure that was already running within his team, hire new reps and train them to get them up to speed to perform at the highest level, or the standard that we hold them to at the bare minimum. So what I want to be able to do is show you a few numbers. I want to also not just hear this from myself, I want to show you a couple of the team members that I brought on and were able to train to be able to reach their goals and also the company goals, and then dive into the exact systems, because I think a lot of people hide or don't share exactly what they look for or what they track, etc. But enough from me. Here's my team, or a couple of members of the sales team that I worked with to be able to turn this offer completely around. And here's what they have to say about me working with them.
And when he started working with me, I was closing at 30 to 35%. After just 30 days of working with Lachlan, I nearly doubled my close rate to almost 70% and nearly tripled my commissions that month. So when he looked at me as a person, he leveraged my strengths and helped me uncover the blind spots that were costing me deals. And it wasn't just me. The way he trained our entire team of setters and other closers was night and day.
Lachlan was my sales manager. Let me just tell you, when he came on the team at Complete 180, we didn't have almost anything set up, any sort of structure, any sort of training, and he personally met with every single member of our team, setters and closers, to walk through personal goals and professional goals, and inspired all of us to be the best version of ourselves, to do exactly what we were saying we're going to do every single day.
He had something different to provide, and it wasn't just on the side of things where he came in and back-to-back helped us have record-breaking months in the company, but he helped the team dynamic shift as well, which I think that's a lot of sales managers' biggest bottleneck. As a closer who has been on a lot of teams, there's not very many sales managers that actually care about you as an individual, as a sales rep specifically, and he helped me overcome certain things that I was lacking in my sales skills, but also in my personal life too.
It just didn't feel like sales. It just felt like like-minded people working together and having fun, and I think that's something that is really rare in this space, and that's something you need to take consider, because Lachlan is that guy to bring that energy in. I just can't thank him enough.
Now we got that out the way, I want to jump into the numbers. Now, if you're bored by numbers, if you've seen 1,000 of these videos and you just want to get to the systems, just skip ahead. But when I first joined the offer, you can see here we started at about 125 cash collected, about 150 revenue. Within the first month of starting, we were able to increase that cash to 180,000 and then double the revenue to $300,000 in a single month. Cool, no worries. Does that matter? Not really, because the only metrics that I personally care about as a manager, as an operator who works with marketing teams, etc., is the average cash it costs, or the average cash collected per booked call, the average cash per call showed, and the average cash collected per call showed. Okay, so as a sales manager, they're three of the most important metrics that I can look at, that I can pull from different teams and analyze where they're exactly at, and start to look at the bottlenecks that the business has to be able to improve them. Month one, we were obviously able to reach 300 revenue. Month two, we were able to go to 290K in revenue, so a little drop in total revenue, but a massive increase in the cash collected. And then you can see here, the most important metrics increased by $100, by $400, and then also by about $500 as well within literally a 60-day period of starting. Then we can touch on month three, so an additional, other than the first 60 days, we also obviously continue to work together more. The next 30 days, we were able to increase that metric again by about $30. The average cash collected per call showed we were able to increase by $50, but the most important metric that we were able to increase was the cash collected per call. So after 2 months of working inside the sales team, I was able to take that average cash collected per call from $3,200 to $4,200. So literally $1,000 per closed increase. If you put that into, you're closing around maybe around 100 to 120 people per month, an extra $1,000, well, there's an extra $100,000 for your business just by increasing the average order or the average cash collected per call. Cool. Now, let's dive into exactly what I look for in a team and what numbers I'm able to analyze to be able to see where your bottlenecks are and what I was able to actually do within this team to be able to change or turn the whole trajectory of the offer of the company around. Your data system is one of the most, obviously data is the most important thing about a business. If you don't understand the systems and the data, or the data most importantly of what's going wrong or what metrics you need to look at to be able to make the highest leverage change, you're already starting behind, okay? So here, I want to touch on this really quick because I see a lot of people playing with a lot of AI, and I got this from one of my mentors, whether he knows he's a direct mentor of me or whatnot, I lean on him very heavily, and he spoke about how people are using AI to build out all these fancy OSs and all these new numbered metrics and all of this crap. I bottle it down, or I dive into the depths, and I have 6 metrics that I want to look at that are basically I can tell and see the health of an offer, health of a sales team by just analyzing these 6 metrics. So what do we look for? Booked calls, obviously a massive one. When I first came into this team, one closer was averaging about 30 booked calls a month. Booked calls, he's having 1 call booked a day. Maybe there's not even that, they don't even turn live. Maybe it's about 60% show rate. So you end up having 15 live calls a month. You're never going to be able to perform at the highest level as a closer, as a company, if your booked call number is down. So obviously that's the first thing that we want to be able to look at. From booked calls, we obviously want to look at the show rate. It's no point having 1,000 booked calls if you've got a 20% show rate. So we want to make sure, depending on the industry specifically that you're working in, obviously we want to make sure you have it above 80% show rate. Otherwise, everything can come crumbling down. So I look at those 2 metrics to start off with. I can instantly see, okay, the highest leverage or the highest lever that I can pull is increasing booked calls, then increasing the show rate. Okay, then we dive into the booked to call close rate. Okay, obviously we can just call that the close rate. It's a little bit different, but we can just keep it simple for now. So once I've increased the booked calls, I've increased the show rate, I then look at the close rate. Wow, the close rate's the bottleneck, it's at 20%. So I heavily train the team and the sales team, experimenting with a few different methods on the best systems for the specific offer. And then I'm able to increase that close rate and then increase the average order per call, whatever you want to say. And that actually ties into my next one, which is the average order value. So I'm able to work with them. Now, how do I do this? I can dive into the specifics, but I'm able to work with the sales team, the closers specifically, to be able to help them overcome their beliefs, because that's all it is beliefs, and life is a mirror of what they think about money and what they think as expensive. Because if you've got a 20K ticket and your closer thinks 20K is expensive, good luck with them, him or her, having the conviction to actually sell that ticket thinking, this is a little expensive when they're on the call. Prospects can feel that energy, they can hear it in your tone. So the first thing I was able to do with these reps is change their beliefs around money, obviously allow them and make them invest into themselves, and make sure they understand that 10, 20, 30, $100,000 isn't really that much amount of money compared to what is in the world. Like, look around, let's be real, okay? Now, a couple of marketing metrics that I like to be able to tie into that I can see and help with the team that I'm working with on the marketing side. Cash collected per lead that comes in, and then cost per booked call. 2 massive metrics. Again, I'm not going to dive into the specifics of them. These are the 6 things that I look at. I pull from the systems or the data that I get given, and then from there I can analyze the 6 and look at which one's the highest lever to pull, and by basically just quickly pulling that lever, I'm able to increase revenue to whatever percentage we want it to be. Cool. Now, what do they actually do in terms of the sales team itself? Well, look, there's 3 or 4 things we want to touch on here. So first of all, the communication standard. The communication standard in a team, for me personally, is massive. If you don't have strong communication, you don't have strong connection to the team, you don't really care about the team. The people that you don't communicate with consistently within a business, at least on a day-to-day basis, you don't really care about. You feel a bit, everyone's going down their own path, they're not connected, we're not working literally as a team because the communication's so bad. So very, very simple one, increase your communication. Speed to lead. We harp on speed to lead as sales reps, as sales managers, as sales leaders in business in general. If your response rate to your team as a manager, as an operator, is literally below a minute or 2 minutes, you're poor. You're not setting a high enough standard. My communication standard is so high, and anyone that works with me can attest to this. Anyone that even messages me can attest to this, other than probably Instagram, but WhatsApp, Slack, for example, iMessage. As soon as I get a text message, I respond because it's respectful. And the standard that I hold to other people is how they will respond to me as well. So when I want something or I need some guidance and someone's not responding for 4 hours, well, because you never responded to somebody else or them for 4 hours. Let's be real. I don't want to keep going. The 3 layers of growth. So I can break down the secret 3 layers, but essentially you want to be able to set goals. You then want to be able to set specific standards, so goals and standards, and then most importantly, the self-image as well. Okay, so goals is obviously the most important one. Everyone says that you fall to the level of your systems or the level of your standards to be able to reach those goals, and then you go a deeper level because self-image or your self-identity creates the standards, which then creates the goals. So I actually reverse engineer it. I'll change and work on your self-image. I'll then set new standards to this new self-image, and then with that new self-image, we'll set goals as well. Bit of a unique one. I have some fun with that with the team. It's massively beneficial for culture building as well and alignment as well. Installing the service performance mindset, pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so what that means for a sales team individually is this isn't a sales team, it's a service team. We're literally serving and providing value to these people. I spoke about this in my last video. What is your definition of sales? That's what you need to look at with each individual rep. Change the definition of sales in their mindset, because if they think it's pushy, I had one rep say, I think sales is pushy, I think sales is sleazy. Holy shit, you're never going to be successful in the space, with all due respect, because then you won't be able to help someone, you won't be able to serve them and actually guide them to a solution because you think that you're pushing them over the line. So I changed their perspective around how they look at sales, installing a performance mindset. Then obviously consistent multi-level motivation. Okay, so with the data that we are able to collect, we're able to produce different types of leaderboards, which we then send into the team each morning, each week, each month, obviously depending on where you're at, and make sure that everyone knows, and it becomes a bit of a competitive environment, and then we add incentives to the top performers to be able to increase performance consistently. I think Warren Buffett, or was it Charlie Munger that said it, incentivizing individuals is the highest lever that you can pull in any business. Very, very true. Cool, moving forward, again, I wanted this to be a little bit of a speed run because I know you've watched 1,000 videos of some young people, similar to myself, talking about all of the amazing things that they've done and all of the cash that they've collected, but they never really show you the inside. So then we also set the new systems and standards, which is what I spoke about at the top of the call. So AI closing calls and transcript insights. What does that mean and what does that look like? Well, obviously nothing beats a good cold-hearted human review. Okay, in my personal opinion, AI will never be able to take over sales just because, at least for another 50 years maybe, just because of the human touch that is needed in sales this day and age. We are craving connection as human beings. So if you don't connect with your reps, if you don't connect with your prospects, it's going to be a little bit ugly. Anyway, that's a bit of a side tangent. What I do about AI closing calls and transcripts, so I then have systems and different softwares that takes all of the transcripts from every single call, puts it into multiple different folders of each closer, and then from there analyzes the transcript of where their weakest parts of the call are, or what they're actually missing. So I then obviously share my structure, the framework that the reps follow, and if I start to identify, okay, Simon here is not hitting consistently the consequence, okay, or cost of inaction. So then I bring that up, and the next week with Simon, I'm training on the consequence, okay? I then can analyze those transcripts with what the AI spits out to me. Okay, Tim's here isn't, he's not even going into goal state whatsoever. He never even asked them about their goal. So then I start training him on that. Okay, so that's it at a high level. It identifies where the reps, what they're missing from the framework, from the structure consistently. Then we sharpen up the team and we sharpen up them through me having specific identification using AI on what I need to be able to train my reps on, rather than being like, oh, let's jump on a call and do a role play. It's like, let's focus on this specific area that we know is a little weak. Webinars, that helps with the marketing team. Obviously, we can install different webinars. Webinars are massive at the moment. I'm sure you've watched enough around webinars. And then modernize scripts and training. Okay, so again, I'm a massive believer in framework over scripts. For multiple reasons, controversial topic, but I don't want anyone to be rigid and have to stick to a word by word. I want to train them to be confident, to be a leader, and then they follow a framework in terms of the kind of the path. I cut down a few trees in the forest so they can start to walk on their own, and then they can start to cut down their own trees as long as I'm training them correctly. Wild analogy. What does modernized training look like? Well, it definitely doesn't look like having, hour and a half long team meetings where you're just chatting, chit-chatting, looking at the numbers, anything like that. Short and sharp every single day with one of the teams I'm running at the moment, and what we're experimenting with is 15-minute team meetings. I got this from the head coach, the head trainer, one of the operators at Committed Coaches, doing about $10 million a month. They run 15-minute team meetings. Come in, quick wins around the room, straight into a drill. Everyone gets 2 or 3 turns at the drill. You then have high energy and you roll into the day with that high energy. There is nothing worse in a sales team than hopping on a call in the morning. Here we fucking go, a team meeting. I've been there myself. Okay, so do not do the hour-long boring stuff where it's not interactive and everyone's just sitting there wanting to get out. Okay, so at a high level, that is the kind of the systems, the data, what I train the reps on to be able to, again, not just double cash collected or not just double the business revenue that, or the revenue of the business, but most important metric as a business owner for any individual is the profit. To be able to literally 1.2x or even double, no, sorry, not 1.2x, 2.2x the profit of an offer owner of that individual himself in a number of 60 days or in a small period of 60 days is maybe unheard of. I speak about a lot of people, I hear a lot of people, I should say I'm kind of not even speaking very clearly here. I hear a lot of people say, oh, I made $1 million for this business, and then you look at the ad spend, they're spending $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on ads. You're like, holy shit, what's the profit margin there? Profit margin is king. Profit is king. Okay, so these are the teams, these are the metrics, the systems, the standards that I saw into my sales teams to be able to take businesses, obviously doubling their revenue, but most importantly, increasing your profit as a business owner. So if your profit margins are a little low, well, there may be a few things wrong there. Anyway, let me know if this has been beneficial. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Again, it's a good overview of what I'm able to do, but happy to dive in deeper specifically with you. I'll drop a link. You can connect with me, shoot me a message on Instagram. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll speak to you guys soon.
If you are thinking about bringing Lachlan and his team in to level up your offer and scale your numbers, do not think twice. Hand them your card. You won't regret it.
I cannot recommend working with Lachlan enough. If you ever get the chance to work with him, he completely changed my mentality on extreme ownership. He completely changed the way I think about myself and my self-image with some of his teachings and his lessons. So definitely, if you have the opportunity to work with him, do not miss out on it.